It's like a Sunday show, huh?
It is. Pelicans win 103-100 over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Before we get into the show, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And this podcast is sponsored by the Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Crew Media, located at 918 Poydras Street by the Superdome. Give them a call at 504-523-5413 if you or someone you know has been involved in an accident. Birdsall Law Firm, the official injury lawyers of Boot Crew Media, got the full crew here tonight. But first off, Lito's back. We'd like to congratulate you. And it's good to see you.
Big Pop.
Welcome back.
So we're
Appreciate
going to
you.
start off with you, Lito. Welcome back, first off. But what'd you think of Richardson tonight?
Man, I love. Let me say this: like I wanted Josh Richardson on this team for a long time. Just not necessarily this year, but in the past, like I've wanted him on this team. I mean, I thought he was excellent. He was engaged. It felt like he'd been on this team since the beginning of the season. Like he knew defensively where to be. He was, like you said before this pod started, he was calling out stuff. He was, in the I think he had 5 steals.
Yeah.
In the
5
passing
steals.
lanes, like
5 steals, 2 blocks.
5 steals, 2 blocks. He gave you, added rim pressure. Normally that's something normally that's something only Najee does, right? As far as like the others. But he was a guy who gave you that. Yeah, man, I like it. I like it. I thought he was a big help tonight.
5. We'll go 5 and Chris. 5. He seems to have a high IQ. You had a tweet early on in the game talking about his IQ and how he seems to just be always, in the right place at the right time. And that's what a veteran, this is what a veteran, right, is supposed to look like.
Josh Richardson almost made me cry tonight. He said a flare screen for Trey Murphy.
I marked it down on my phone.
Bro, I was like, wait, whoa. Because I was talking about this about, Cam Johnson and, another contributor of Boot Crew was saying, oh, that's a play that they run. I'm like, no, the Suns just have smart basketball players and they're just going to screen for their best shooter. And to see, like, Josh doesn't know Trey like that. They haven't played together before. And just to see, like, oh, no, my guy's going to go sag, so let me go screen yours and try to get a shot over the top. And it worked out for Trey. Young skipped it. Trey got in for a layup. But, just to see, like, smart basketball plays, the skip to Kyra in the corner. I mean, there's numerous things that Josh did tonight, even defensively. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, if I'm some of the rotation guys, I'm nervous. Like, you better be nervous.
100%, because Chris, you were talking about how like we can talk to him about Dyson, right? And like how this is what's like Dyson can like almost supposed to be like. But Richardson, he's just such a veteran. He knows where to go. He gets other people open. But defensively, 5 steals tonight, and he had SGA in hell for that late in that third quarter.
Yeah, if I'm Dyson, I'm following Josh Richardson all around the facility. I mean, it makes all the sense. I think like a guy like Josh, and even if that's not the comp, right? Someone worse than Josh would be Dyson's floor, for example. But like, if Josh isn't the ceiling, he's like the stairs to what you would want to what Dyson can be. I think guys having someone like that on both sides of the floor that's just solid, and dependable, right? Like Josh has been this guy. He's added wrinkles. He's improved his game along the way, but he's been this same guy everywhere, right? So no matter New Orleans, Miami, Boston, New Mexico, Japan, like he's going to be the same dude. Exactly. Even if the stat sheet doesn't account for it, he's going to give you the same, type of process. And I think that's big for this team because you just need more dudes in what from an IQ perspective, from an attack perspective, exactly what you're going to get. And especially when you got as many, OKC is a perfect example, actually, because they got a lot of young guys trying to figure out who they are all together and, at once. And it's hard to beat good teams, even moderate teams, night to night when you have that. Josh, he instantly raises your floor just off of IQ and just experience along with having, I think, a universal skill set that any team could use.
Yeah, and I was telling Five, I think late in the third quarter, last possession, he was already calling out OKC's play and telling Kyra where to go, and they sniffed it out and got a stop. But Ross, another guy who seems to be finally getting his groove back, Brandon Ingram, he was the starter tonight, 34 points again. I mean, Ross, the shot making of Brandon Ingram, the difficulty of this it is impressive, but does he have to make it that hard on himself, or should he be more assertive? I mean, he's unbelievable anyways, but I mean, what'd you see from him tonight? He looked incredible.
Yeah, well, I mean, there were a couple shots he took in the fourth quarter where I wasn't real thrilled with what had happened there, and he made a couple of them. I mean, then that's what guys like him do. They can make really tough shots. I thought the stuff he got in the first half was a lot cleaner, a lot more through the offense, and we just it's always been a problem kind of with the offense. I think late in games that we just bogged down. I mean, at one point we had 3 possessions in a row where we had Valanciunas hanging out in the right corner. It wasn't real clean stuff. And look, somebody's got to take those shots, and I think that's where you sort of give guys like him the pass. That, once the shot clock's under 5-6 seconds, it's got to go up. And so he did a good job of hitting a couple of those. I thought he played well. He seems to be getting his legs back under him. And we need him. Look, Chris said it right before we came on. A win is a win at this point. We'll take him any way we can get. So it was good to see him play well again.
Chaz, Brandon Ingram shooting 40% from deep. I mean, he struggled with that last year.
On the year?
On the year. Yeah, on the year shooting 40% from deep. Did you like him tonight? Did you not? What'd you see from him? Because
missed 30 games. Like, come on, man. I hate stuff like that, bro. But you know what? I will say this. I'm coming in hot. You know what? I thought Josh Richardson played a great game, and I would like. He's an unrestricted free agent, and I definitely want to see Dyson follow him this offseason because from what I saw, that went over a lot of people's heads. But from what I saw from Jalen Williams tonight, man, I'm so disappointed. I'm so disappointed. That guy looks like an elite role player. Shout out to Josh Richardson, though. He did, pretty much, I think what we all expected him to do. Being a really, really good, solid player the entirety of his career. Thought Brandon started off the game really well. Hit some big shots. Were they the best shots? No. But, hey, they went in. And at the end of the day, when you're the only real creator out there, that's all you can really ask for. I would have liked to see us move the ball a little more, feed JV a little more. But hey, you take any win you could get. I don't think OKC is a bad team. I would call this a really good victory. I thought Brandon showed up tonight, and he hit all the big shots when the team needed him to, and I feel like he outdueled SGA when it was all said and done. I feel like he outdueled them.
Yeah, I completely agree. Presented to you by Company Burger, located at 4600 Ferret Street. Lito, what'd you think of Kyra tonight? Some more productive minutes from him. I thought he and Richardson, that backcourt was interesting. They had a really good run there late in the third defensively, where they played some pretty good defense on SGA and even on Giddey.
I think Kyra's. I mean, bro, his speed is the thing that's gonna set him over. Like he's just so much faster than everybody else on the floor. And I think when he stops thinking and just starts playing, like when it becomes more a habit than anything else. I thought he was good. I mean, he attacked. He missed a couple layups, but you know what I'm saying, like that. Yeah. That happens. I just want him to keep being aggressive. I think if Kyra continues to be aggressive, I think he made a 3. If I'm
he went 1 of 3 tonight, shooting 40% from
midi too.
Yeah, and that's the thing. See, like that midi, that floater, like that thing that Jose unfortunately has over him that Kyra just hasn't figured out yet is the thing that Kyra needs to add to his game, especially with the speed of it. Like I think when Kyra does the over dribbling, I think that's where he hurts himself because he doesn't need to do that. He can literally just blow by whoever it is.
Yeah. 5. I was literally just about to talk about Jose's floater. That's become a a weapon for him, especially when you're attacking bigs and he's so good at, creating and getting down the lane. But, we see him work on that all the time, but to see him do it in a game, it's pretty impressive what he's been able to do and how to like master that.
I mean, he shot that. I almost said the S word. He shot that from 15 foot. Like he shot that from the free throw line. Like yo, that's like a push shot. You got to get creative when you're like. I mean, there was a couple times, even I think it was in the second half. I think it might have been the third quarter where he tried to get to the rim. Like it was late in the shot clock, and they were able to block it. So you kind of being his size, he has to be more creative when it comes to getting downhill. Jalen Williams, goodness gracious, the way he kind of defended Jose a couple of those possessions, man, it was kind of tough to see. But I think that's good for Jose to see, right? Like these larger defenders kind of guard him and be able to move with him. I think that's kind of where he has to get better at, being able to create more on a bigger defender, because there's guys like, same size as Jalen or Dyson that can kind of keep up with you. And you kind of got to get past. So I think that's the next step for him.
Yeah, for sure. Chris, what did you think of Trey tonight? You seem aggressive. I know the box score isn't, like eye opening, but I see him being a little bit more aggressive now, especially even like, he had, I think 2 or 3 blocks tonight. He looks, I know defensively there's still obviously some holes there, but that's the stuff you want to see, right? Where he's using his length. And I think tonight, even offensively, he goes 3 of 11 from the field, 3 of 8 from deep, but still he seems to be like more of like hunting his shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think when you're, a second-year player, even dating back to his rookie year, I mean, it's the balance in your approach, right? It's just learning consistently, just following your strengths. You know that you are a 90+ free throw shooter on the year. Everything doesn't have to be a 3, right? There's nights where it's not going to be falling, but you still got to shoot them, right? It's just a balance of knowing when and where. There were times where the offense got a little ugly and there was some questionable lineups out there in regards to creation. So, all right, Trey, you got a closeout coming towards you. Go ahead and get to the rim. Try to mix up the happen. That's great. And defensively, sometimes there's gonna be communication, efforts, and you can see that like a guy like Josh didn't. From what I saw, I didn't see Josh Richardson have a single defensive breakdown for a team that's rare in a switch heavy scheme. That's just like you can be a really good defender and get lost sometimes. It just happens. It didn't happen with Josh. He just knew, right? With Trey, it's obviously going to take more time, but just simply using his God-given ability, some of the blocks, he took a couple rebounds even out of his teammates' hands. Just stuff like that, the things that you can control, it matters. And down this stretch, playing against some mediocre, bad teams, young teams, wherever you want to rank them, this is the perfect opportunity to continue building that momentum of doing some of the small things, because I mean, look, man, if Brandon's playing this way, CJ's out there, you're going to have the shots are going to arrive. It's the little things that I think matter most for guys like him.
Yeah, I mean, Ross, you've talked about with Trey, it's been baby steps defensively, but you've seen him get better. He ties a career high tonight, actually, in blocks and 3, and that's the stuff you wanted to see defensively. Now, is he going to get lost? Of course he is. The boxing out still is not there for him. He seems to get lost and either gets pushed off of it or he's not exploding. That drives me a little crazy, but defensively, he's starting to show some better signs.
Yeah, look, I mean, he was better tonight, but it's hard for me to totally wipe the slate clean because the last 2 games at home, I thought he was really bad. And so, I mean, it's just the type of thing that happens with young players, and it's why I think for a big chunk of the fourth quarter, you saw Josh Richardson play for all the reasons that everybody just alluded to. There's still some inconsistency there, and yeah, what you want to see with a second-year player is just improvement. And I think I've said all year that I thought Trey has improved this year from last year. Does that mean he's a finished product? Hell no, not far from it. And so getting more guys like that understand what we're trying to do and can execute what you're trying to do, I think it's going to help everyone, right? Like it's going to help Dyson even when he's not playing. It's going to help guys like Trey. It's going to make Herb's life a little easier on the defensive end. So, it was a good thing. I know we spent some time earlier, Justin, talking about just how do you paint. I think that trade for me is painted in a slightly different picture after the Zion announcement, right? I think it was kind of covered as just basically being a salary cap thing. And then, the Zion news comes out, and it kind of, I think if the front office knew that he was going to be out another month, this Josh Richardson deal looks a little different for me. Like, it makes a whole lot more sense than just being financial in nature. So it's going to make everyone's life a little easier, I think, especially the young guys over the next few weeks.
Yeah. Chaz, they struggled. This is a problem. And I want to hear everyone's thoughts on this. And I don't understand why. But they struggle inbounding the ball late in games. This is not like, this is a problem now. This has happened like 3 or 4 times where one, they don't, they don't get it in. They don't know, they turn it over. They have no timeout. Like it just always seems to be a problem. And tonight, I know it was a bad call. It was a horrific call. But Trey, first off, I thought it was a long 5 seconds. And it looks like Trey almost might even have a violation there. And then he just has nowhere to throw it. What are you seeing late in games why they just struggle so much?
It's an extension of a poor coaching staff. I mean, if you look at what was happening when Jose was like, let's review it. Willie was like, we don't have a timeout. Then CJ goes over and asks Joel and AD. CJ walks to ask Joel. CJ walks. Y'all hear me? CJ on the bench. He played for the team. He walks to ask the announcers, hey, what happened? And they like, oh, y'all ain't got no timeouts. This is live on the air, man. Come on, y'all on a hot mic. You said this. It's just an extension of a dumb coaching staff. Like, it's just they never know what's going on, never know how many timeouts they have. It was just it's just a terrible. The substitutions were all over the place. It was just, and the guy, they managed to get the shot off. It's just terrible, man. This coaching staff is terrible, man. That's all I got to say.
Okay, Lito, what did you think, like, inbounding wise? Inbounding wise, why are they struggling? Are they not screening hard enough? Are they not, popping the ball? Like, what are we missing here? Is Lito
muted, Lito?
Lito's muted.
Bad. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
It's like inbounding the ball just now. I don't know why that's so. Bro, like, I don't know. Like, you would think, especially coming out of a timeout in situations where you have an inbound pass, like, you would think all the I's are dotted, all the T's are crossed, right? But not only that, like, for whatever reason, in the last 5 minutes of the game, like, the Pels ball movement was just stagnant, period. Like, there was nothing there. Like, there was no movement. It was literally that OKC was basically playing boxes and elbows on Brandon again. Like, they had nothing going. And, like, if it weren't for BI having God on line one hitting these tough middies, like, you lose that game. Yeah. You lose it, right? Like, but BI was just, that's why he get, you know what I'm saying? That's why he gets the max money, right? But, like, it shouldn't have come to that. It was different. It was other instances in the game also where, I know you're asking me about inbounds, but it was instances in the game where Jonas had it rolling and they gave him the ball a couple possessions and they completely went away from him.
That happens a lot. I mean, Ross, did you want to say something? I don't know if you.
Yeah, I do, because we're focusing on inbounds, and I understand that we have the sideline play. We don't get, we call the timeout, whatever. We come back in and we run the play. We shoot the free throws. Like, the play at the end is not an inbound play. That is a panic play by a player who was not prepared for the moment. Like, we make 2 free throws with 8 seconds left to go up 5. 8 seconds left to go up 5. We allowed them to just basically roll the ball in, and Jalen Williams sprints down the floor and dunks it, totally uncontested. Okay, and you're sitting there with 5 seconds now because you just gave up 2 free points for just no apparent reason. And I mean, the ball runs. I just watched it again. The ball goes through the hoop, and it's people aren't even, nobody's set. Like, this all just happened real fast. And Trey runs and stumbles. First off, he's going so fast to try and inbound the ball. He trips, knocks the ball a little farther away from himself, grabs it. Instead of doing what most experienced players or people, high basketball IQ players do, is what do? You grab it, toss it over the ref, buy yourself a few more seconds, let him give it back to you. Instead, he just grabs that thing and starts looking around in a total panic. Like that, I agree with Chaz that, yes, coaching, like, we do things from a coaching perspective that are probably not the best things. This has nothing to do with coaching. Like, this is not a play. Like, the coach has no effect on this play.
Can I just say
quiet.
this real quick, Five? I just wanted to say, we literally had an inbound issue against the same team the last time we played them. This literally happened against the same team. And we just had a 5-second penalty in Miami. This team is dumb winning at the end of games. Go ahead, Five.
No, Ross, I agree with what you're saying, but yes, this is totally on the coaching staff. This is 100%, 120% on the coaching staff. I'll be honest, bro. Yes, Trey. Trey should have not picked up the ball. You kind of should probably look around and make sure.
Okay,
All right,
that's
this
not
is what
the coaches, though. We don't have any time.
No.
Hold up.
Let me finish, man. Yes,
Go
it
ahead.
is on the coaches because if you don't know, it's their job to tell you. One, you got subbed in to shoot free throws. Then you being the free throw shooter, allowed Jalen Williams to have a beeline to the rim to score in 3 seconds. That is on you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even attempt to foul him because if you do, at least you still have the advantage. It'll be a 2-possession game if he misses one. So you then allow him to shoot a fucking dunk. Oh God, dang it! Sorry, baby. So that's one of my issues. Then you pick up the ball so fast, and then it's a made basket. So you have the ability to run the baseline. You don't know that. You know why I know? Because you stood in the same spot the whole time. That didn't give yourself a better angle to throw a pass. Jose was initially open, so you didn't see him there. If you were able to run, which you were, you just didn't know that you could. That is on the coaching staff. One, because the coaching staff should have told you. You should know these situations. These are practice situations, Ross. I know you're frustrated. I know you're angry, but this is again. Hold on, Ross. This is my last. This is my last.
Just
statement. Just let me go.
5 things that were all Trey, not the coaches. All of them. Every single.
Can I finish my statement? All I'm going to say is these things continuously happen. Who else are they involved? Because these are different players. These things are happening too.
So the same exact thing happened to CJ. He didn't run the baseline either.
So who's the common denominator here?
Five, do you think
sense.
it's
The
Five,
common
hold
denominator is common sense. That's
Hold
what
up.
the common denominator is.
Five?
All right,
Do you think they should be teaching them this, or should you come in the league knowing this?
Well. Okay, let's talk about this.
I'm just. That's a question, Chris. You can answer after.
We would love for everybody to be high basketball
Sure.
IQ players coming into the league knowing everything about basketball, but they're not, and that's okay. That's what these coaches are paid to teach you. They're supposed to teach you the ins and outs of basketball, right? Like that's kind of their job. That's
kind of like a training camp thing. Like you
kind of
like a training camp thing. Like you take care of this, certain situations. So
yeah.
I see both of y'all's points. Chris, did you want to get in here, say anything about that?
No.
No comment.
But to be fair, we saw it with another professional.
Why
high IQ guy
why
in
no?
Dyson.
Chris?
No, bro. Like, do we not, just because we teach somebody something, just because we can hammer on the same point to somebody over and over again? We got these people in our life that we can remind, we can tell. Imagine a group of sorts. People they panic, they make mistakes, they do whatever. I'm not saying that the coaching staff is the greatest in the world, but that possession is on Trey. That's not on, like, you can't, like, I'll give an example. Like, okay, let's say second quarter, Josh Richardson in a play that wasn't built, it wasn't supposed to go to Josh, right? I think Brandon had the ball opposite baseline. He throws it cross court to Josh. Josh can either attack, he can shoot, it's going like the shot clock's running down. He makes a smart decision and give the ball down to Jonas, who has the seal there. If he would have took the shot, wouldn't nobody been like, yo, why was no? He decided to make the right basketball and the smart play there. That was a good play by him. If he'd have did the opposite, it would have been a bad play. Like, you could blame it on the players. You can blame it on the coaching staff. I don't think it's ever one element in these situations, because we got 3 or 4 incidents in which they had inbound problems. Now that's all in the coaching staff. How many other games or teams do we watch religiously to know the inbound issues that they have? How many do we know to make, like, I don't get that, bro. Like, the players need responsibility in this as well. Trey has to get that ball in. You don't have timeouts. He panicked. It didn't work out. And Oklahoma City played good defense. Like, it is what it is, man. I mean, we're hammering on points that don't have, to me, an easy solution, especially on a situation where there was no timeout. You know, it is what it is.
All I want to add to this is say, when Jonas is the advantage, we have an advantage inside, and we don't give him the ball. Who does that go on? I mean, this is game after game. This isn't like a singular solution, right? This is game after game. This isn't like a one-time occurrence. Who are we supposed to blame that on? Who are we supposed to say, yo, we're not giving the ball to Jonas enough, or he's not getting enough touches? I mean, AD, and Joe in particular says this periodically. So who are we supposed to say this about? Is it the team? Is it the the players on the court? Is it the coaching staff, or is it just Willie? Like, who are we supposed to tell this to?
You muted, Lito.
It's ridiculous. Like honestly, you every other team in the NBA, I see Hunt's matchups, right? You got a guy where he's the biggest guy on the floor. Like, man, make it easy, especially when you have these instances of there's a lack of movement, or there's times where you can't get an easy bucket. He had a 6'6" dude on him, like, for the better part of the game. Like, make it easy on yourself. You allowed him. I think he scored 3 in a row. And then 4 or 5 possessions passed. He didn't get the ball again, and then he got called for a foul. And then that was it. Like, that was it. It was over after that.
I know Bob's question was rhetorical, and for me, if you want to have a conversation about coaching stuff like that, and I mean the two we always say it is too, right? And so it's kind of separate issues for me. Yeah, like I don't know. There's we don't even have to belabor at this point anymore. Like tonight was, of all the opportunities to just feed the big guy. Like what are we doing? I mean, I'm that's what I'm saying. I'm not sitting in here vouching that we have the best coaching staff on earth, but there's some instances where it just is clearly on the players, and some where.
To close this up, Chaz, I don't know if you can hear me, Chaz, but I don't know if I can hear. I'll go to 5. So to close this up. I think he's kind of frozen. So 5, yeah. To close this up, what did you think about the Jacks minutes tonight, and why Billy keeps getting DNPs? Is that just moving forward? That's what's going to happen to that? Was that not kind of surprising to you tonight, or was that just me?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get half the time. I don't get any of these rotations. I don't understand a lot of it. But that's just what it is. I mean, I don't know what you do with Jacks at this point. I don't know if it's any value to you. I mean, Jax had a really good game against OKC the last time, and the fact that you waited to the second half to play him, it's kind of like, all right, well, that doesn't work. I mean, hell, you don't play through Jonas. A lot of this stuff doesn't work. It's like you just have a combination of good talent, a decent talent, but you don't even utilize your talent. I think it's like they say humans only use 10% of their brain. The Pelicans only using 10% of their talent. Like we haven't.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just real quick. Were y'all surprised not to see? Because I know Lito just brought it up a second ago, and I was thinking it basically the whole fourth quarter. Were y'all surprised not to just see us go with just to go small tonight, given that they were playing Kenrich Williams at the 5?
That's awesome.
I thought for sure at one point we would see Jose, Herb, Bi, Trey, and Josh Richardson at one point.
Yeah.
And I don't think it ever worked out that those were the 5 on the court. I could be wrong. But were y'all sort of surprised not to see that?
No.
I think you can't trust Trey at this point as a rebounder or defender to close games. Sadly, I think that's really what it boils down to. Trey can't play the 5, unfortunately.
Chris, were you surprised that Trey didn't necessarily close the game out? I know he got in the last 18 seconds, but are you kind of agreeing with Chaz and Ross that you just can't trust him defensively?
Well, I'm basing it off of them with a 5, with Jonas or with Larry being your small ball 5. It didn't make sense to me for if I was making a call, Jose would have been on the bench and Trey would have been been the one to close because you already have an additional guard defender out there and Josh Richardson to go with her for some of the different actions that they were running. But I mean, offensively, like some of that, like the clutterness that like actions that you were running in which BI had to make, crazy shots just to, for you to win that game. They may look a little different when, I don't know, you got Herb and you got Jose out there in which OKC's begging to shoot. Now look, shout out to Jose. He made a few, but it's a reason he shot, 11, 12 threes tonight because OKC didn't care if he shot the ball. So if you're out there and while Jose can organize and he's very smart, you're running the offense through BI anyway. Like, he's the one making the decisions in a good majority of those actions. Put another shooter out there. Put your best shooter out there and make plays that way. And then on the other side of the ball, OKC, like Josh Giddey's 6'7", 6'8". You don't have an advantage there with Jose. That would have been my call. Schmidt said, I saw he commented and said that he would have taken Herb out. Okay, fine. It just felt like offensively down the stretch, you're running everything through Brandon. Put another shooter out there. You can't have two people on the floor that OKC is saying, all right, we'll live with it.
See, just to play devil's advocate, you didn't have another ball handler, right? Because they were giving Brandon trouble bringing the ball up when he did, right? That's why he kept deferring to Jose. So I think that's your real issue is that you really don't have a real point guard. I guess not saying Jose isn't a real point guard, but it doesn't give you an advantage, right? He's going to have to shoot those shots because he's the only one that can dribble the ball up. And I think Brandon kind of alluded to that in his like post game, I guess after the game kind of talk with whoever that was reporting. Jose got us into our offense. Yeah, because he kind of had to because you can't do it. Herb really isn't that great at it, especially against like really good pressure, which the Thunder were kind of applying. So I guess that's the other side of it.
And I had a quick question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, you just let Josh Richardson run your damn offense to start the fourth quarter and in the third.
6 or 8 straight points.
I mean, at this point, huh?
That's true.
6 or 8 straight points.
Like, you might as well. At this point, what you got? Like, they were begging Josh. Anytime that fourth quarter, I saw 4 straight possessions go through Josh. Then nobody else want the basketball. Josh, figure it out. He just the beat, bro. He hasn't unpacked his suitcase yet.
They called a set. I remember texting on, hey, we should probably take a timeout for these free throws. They called a set, and Brandon had to walk Richardson through what he had to do because he had no idea what was. I was like, just call a timeout and get a position.
I get it though. I mean, you're right. You're right. You're right from that perspective. I mean, you gotta he
has no clue what he's doing. So I'm like, just draw up a play and let him know where to go. Like,
y'all play too much. I sat there with Justin on whatever night it was, Friday, whatever night the Cavs beat the hell out of us, and Josh Richardson was sitting over there on the sideline. And I told Justin, if we're gonna play like this, I know he got shoes in the locker room. he ain't got to know.
What up, bro?
Halftime, go put them things on. Like, what are we doing?
Honestly, bro, I would moving forward. I would probably start Josh Richardson if our bench wasn't so bad. I've been saying that for a while. I would start Josh Richardson at the 3.
Hey, but if you're fully healthy, would you start him over Herb?
Yeah, I would. At this point, just because, like, let's just keep it real. You got a guy that pretty much just came off the street, and he's already your 3rd or 4th best player. Like, come on, man. Like, this. Let's be serious here.
He didn't come off the street. He didn't come off the street.
Or not off the street, but I'm saying a guy one day on your team and he's outperforming everyone else. Like, that's not the first time that's happened with this team. Like that's
come on,
that's
Chad, dog. Come on,
this player is crazy.
That's tough.
I'm saying, look, all right. So if CJ is 2nd best player, right? I'm talking about without Zion. So is Josh Richardson better than Najee right now?
Why are we talking about Najee? We have other players.
He either is or he isn't. He either is or he isn't. Like, come on.
Lito, close us out here.
Hey man, shout out to Herb Jones. Shout out to Herb Jones, man.
Shout out to Herb, bro.
He had 2 very big plays, two defensive stands to end the game tonight. Like he consecutive, like he got a deflection on one, and he had a hell of a closeout on the last shot of the game. So shout out to Herb.
Yeah, Lito. Close out here, but they have the Lakers next. I was actually talking to Chaz. I said if they sweep these next 3 games, you'd be pretty impressed. But if they beat the Lakers, they go 2-1 out of these last 3, heading into the All-Star break. Hopefully, CJ gets healthy. Maybe we get a good update from Zion's hamstring. I'm not saying is it a must win, but it's not a must win, obviously, but a pretty big game in Los Angeles Wednesday night to close out the first half.
Who's that for?
Lido.
You're asking me if it's a
I'm
big
saying,
game?
I mean, if they go 2-1 over these last 3, get some momentum going in the All-Star break, I feel like this is a very important game coming up here on Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, then like it doesn't look like, I don't know. I mean, Brian for whatever reason has a vendetta against us, but he takes up for AD since he can't speak for himself. I don't know if Brian's gonna play or not, but I do think like the Lakers are better than the last time we played them, especially like with the additions of the players that they added. I mean, to be honest, Justin, I feel like every game for us moving forward is a big game. So I don't think we should take any game lightly. Just based on the standings and the lack of separation in the Western Conference at this point. I mean, you can literally go from 10th to 4th overnight, right? So like, yeah, like you should play the hell out of this game. You should play it for what it's worth. And then if you look at it, I mean, if you play it right, you got the Lakers, the Raptors, I think Orlando and New York. I don't know if that's the right order, but if you play it right, like that could be 5 games. You know what I'm saying? Like you go into March with, like you said, the optimism of maybe, Zion's whatever. And I just think, I really think at this point, you have to play it how you played it last year. Keep Zion out of mind. Play with what you have. Let's move forward with what we have. And that's it.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I agree. They have the easiest schedule remaining in the NBA. So, it's a big one on Wednesday. But before we get off, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Pelicans' victory tonight over the Thunder. Lito, good to have you back. Presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media and the NBA. We will see y'all on Wednesday night.